Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you care.
Hey guys, this is Archie from Archie's Orchids, and today is probably the really longly overdue bulbophyllum care video. Now, a lot of people think that bulbophyllum is a terribly hard genus to grow. Can be, but if you know what you're... What's that green light? Oh, it's my camera. If you know what you're doing, then they're not. So what are bulbophyllum? If I keep looking over there, I have a big plan of what I'm doing, because it's a big topic. But bulbophyllum is the largest genus, and it has over 2,000 species. In fact, it's the second largest plant family in the world, I think. Yeah, it's only beaten by Astragalus, which is, you know, like if you go on allotments and stuff, if you live in the UK, and you get those plants, you know, like Mimosa pudica, you know, the touch-sensitive plant, and it has those little, like, poofy flowers on it. That's what they are. It's hard to describe. If I can find a picture, I will give you the picture. But they're usually, bulbophyllum this is, they're usually found in warmer parts of the world, so, like, around the equator, really, in the tropics, like Asia. I'm not sure if they're found in, like, northern Australia, but they're found in Asia, southern Asia mainly, Latin America, the West Indies, various islands in the Indian and the Pacific Ocean. Yes, they can, like I said, they can be difficult to grow due to their generally high heat and high humidity requirements, but that is not true for a lot of species. And there is another myth that they absolutely stink. This is not true. If you see the video that Roger posted where I sent him a bunch of bulbophyllums, I was reading through the comments on that, as you do, and he said, I did say I wanted more bulbophyllums, but I wanted to choose which ones. Roger, if you check your messages more often, you will see that I asked you if you wanted a bulbophyllum phalaenopsis, and when you didn't reply, I said, tough, you're having it. So you're stuck with that, or at least until you give it to someone else and put that burden on someone else. So let's get into this. This is on a PowerPoint. This is actually an exclusive peek into my talk that I'm doing in May. So humidity, as bulbophyllums mostly come from hotter areas in the tropics, so or a lot of the rainforest areas, relatively high humidity, so 80 to 85%. They can tolerate higher, but you need good air movement. Even with the 80s and 85s, you will need better air movement than you have, say, for a grow room full of Oncidium generics. So water, use really only soft water. If you have soft tap water, that can be fine, no more than a TDS of 50 as a general rule. Well, what I think. My tap water is a TDS of about 500, so I have to use reverse osmosis water, which I don't have a system. I could buy it from fish shops, but hurtling bottles of reverse osmosis water is expensive and annoying, so I don't have a water butt either, so you can see the problems that I'm running into. I can't have a water butt because my drain pipe from my gutter is absolutely metal. I live in an area around Bristol, so it's all very industrial and a lot of things are made out of steel. So my drain pipe is metal basically, so I can't get a water butt. So yeah, water has to be soft. You can fertilise them in summer weekly with quarter strength or maybe even less. I'd probably go around quarter strength every 1.5 to 2 weeks. Don't let them dry out, that's another thing. If you let them dry out, the roots will desiccate like that, and that will cause a problem for you because then the roots are not there. Self-explanatory, really. Patience helps. I will tell you this now, you will kill bulbophyllums, you will kill them like, I don't know, like flies in a room trapped full of fly spray. They will drop like flies. When you first get started, they will rot, the leaves will fall off, they will dehydrate, the roots will rot. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and you just need to adapt your conditions and adapt how you're caring for them accordingly. So it's not about what works for me, it's about what works for you and your environment. I just had a little speech impediment there. This kind of links in to one of my favourite mottos. Just because something is hard doesn't mean you shouldn't try. It means you should try harder. I can't express that more. Try harder. And try harder and harder until you can get the conditions right. would bring in a few plants to demonstrate, but as it's 8:05 and it's February the 2nd, it's pitch black outside, it's raining. Right now we have a storm on its way and we've got 80 miles an hour gale force winds. Our garden, this is kind of off topic, but our garden, because we have a terrace house, or a semi-detached house, we have a fence between the two gardens. 3 of the fence panels are blown over, so it's just like one huge garden shared with my neighbour. So me and him were out there earlier just picking everything up and just returning the chaos to normal. So let me just scroll down here. Light is a big open topic. Now, most species grow in low to intermediate light. Now, this is untrue for some species. Orthosepalum, for example, in the Macrobulbum section, can tolerate full sun. So, if you want to know what light your orchid or bulbophyllum requires, then you're going to have to Google it, or just email me. I think my email should be linked to my YouTube account, or just send me a message and I will look that up for you. Yeah, so a lot of them are Macrobulbum actually grow in deep shade, like my Bulbophyllum phalaenopsis, which is still in the house, because I'm not moving that to the greenhouse for another month or so, because that was a big investment for me, and I don't want to lose that plant, so I'm making sure everything in the greenhouse is up and running as smooth as possible before I move big, important, expensive plants in. But yeah, a lot of them, Fletcherianum, Phalaenopsis, Beccarii, some of the bigger Macrobulbum species. I don't think, no, Beccarias and Beccariana. But yeah, you know what I mean. So, bigger the species really, the lower light, but that is untrue. Yeah, so most species grow in intermediate to low light, some high, some low. That doesn't really help, does it? No. Potting now. Let's get right into this. A lot of bulbos have a really cool but really annoying way of growing. Now, if you know Bulbophyllum, you know that they will grow a rhizome first, and then the leaf and the pseudobulb will grow on the end. The rhizome can be anywhere from that long to that long, or even like that long. I've seen them that long before, and ugh. So that poses a really, really huge problem, as generally bulbos are moisture-loving plants, as I've said. So you don't want to mount them really, unless you want to water them once, twice a day, and especially in summer, water them 3-4 times a day, making sure they do not dry out. So you pot them in the media. Now the problem with that is, you pot them, you think, closest to the side of the pot so the growth can grow out into the pot. Within 1 or a few is 2 growing seasons, probably 2 growing seasons, that plant will be growing out of the pot. And if you try to bend that rhizome back round into the pot, it will snap. So, the obvious solution would be to mount them, but mounts will dry out really too fast, so you don't really want to be watering all that often. So if you're growing in pots, which you should be really, shallow pots are best, because bulbophyllums don't have a deep root system. That's important to understand. If you have something, I don't know, like again, Oncidium or something, those roots, or a Cymbidium even, right, a Cymbidium, the pots, you need to be tall, slender pots for the roots to go down. If you put a bulbophyllum in that, the top layer will dry out and the rest will stay moist, so you will get a drying of where the plant is and moisture where you don't want it, where it can cause decomposition. So shallow pots are the way to go, and moisture retentive media. So fine bark Orchiata I'd use, as it doesn't break down all that readily, and some sphagnum moss mixed in with that. But you can use, this is another topic, you can use cocoa chips, you know, like the cocoa fibre, like I said in previous videos how I don't like using it. Well, that can be good, it can be beneficial, because bulbophyllums are almost semi-terrestrial. You probably could grow them in the soil, but don't, because that probably won't go down well. So the problem with that is, if you don't know what you're doing with it, you're going to get overwatered plants. If you know what you're doing with it, your plants will be fine, but you'll be surprised how quickly that will turn to ordinary soil. 9 months and you'd have to repot as the media would be absolutely broken down. So you don't really want to use coconut fibre, but you can. And also another problem is, because it's so fine, salt build-up is a major issue. If you're fertilising once or every quarterly, No, that doesn't make sense. Once or every 1.5 weeks, 3 quarterly. That's going to cause major salt buildup and root burn, and obviously bulbos linking to softer waters, you're going to cause root burn and all sorts of root problems, so you're going to have to flush that pot every 2 weeks at least. So, use either RO water or rainwater to flush the pot. So that is basically it, guys. Yeah. Temperatures I've covered. No, I haven't. Yeah, I have. Temperatures, well, let's go into it now. Temperatures anywhere from cold, cool, intermediate, warm, hot. It covers the whole spectrum, so you're just gonna have to look that up. If you want to know anything specific, or I've got any other questions, drop them in the comments or personal message me. I think you just click on my name and go to discussion. You can put it under there if it's not private, or if it's something private that you want to know privately, then send me a private message. Not sure how you do that, but I'm sure you can find out. So that was that video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And how do you say it? Bulbophyllum or bulbophyllum? I know I alternate how I say it. Sometimes bulbophyllum, sometimes bulbophyllum. I do really think that bulbophyllum is the correct globally accepted way of pronouncing it, but bulbophyllum is the American version, I think. And I just picked that up. So I've watched so many videos because majority of orchid channels are American. So yeah, but that's it, guys. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and check out some of my fellow orchid YouTubers and get this community going strong, I guess. So I will see you in my next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. I hope it helped. If it did, let me know. And I will see you in my next video. I've said that like 5 times. Goodbye.